Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and I'm into week 43 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. We are late into the race here in Tondela, in Portugal. And I'm currently running P3 and P7. Verline trying to make a run. He's closing down Pagano in front of him. He's on much fresher tires, and Pagano's probably not going to be able to go the distance on those. It looks like he's trying to do a one-stopper. And that's how he's gotten as high as he is. I actually started this race with the intention of trying to pull off the one-stopper and just didn't quite get there. Verline's actually had a couple of ERS problems here where it's not seeming to be working correctly. There's been times where I've engaged it and got zero acceleration whatsoever. De Vries started this race from the pole, but as I was going for the one-stopper, I had De Vries on the medium tires to try to get the distance, and they just really did not have the pace on those medium tires. And speaking of, my challengers in this race, and really in the title this season, they are currently on the medium tires themselves. Bottas is the championship leader, and Verline just inherited 6th place, as sure enough Pagano could not make it on the one-stopper, so everyone has now taken 2 stops, and Tench is the first car to go already to a 3-stop race here in Tondela, as these tires have fallen off today. It has stayed dry throughout. There has been good grip, but De Vries continues to close the gap on the leaders. He's now 7 seconds back of Bottas, which might be a bit too far with just 3 laps to go. And Verline just fell out of the top 6. What's going on here, buddy? That's Delatraz who just got around you, and he's on some pretty worn mediums, and Verline seems to be a bit off the pace right now. He was a bit slow that lap. It is time to push, though, with 3 laps to go. So let's go ahead and step that up. Ooh, De Vries. Gearbox. Taking some damage to the gearbox. Not doing so well there. Yeah, ignore. Alright, top 4 is well spread out. It looks like De Vries is bound to cruise to a podium with 2 laps left to go in this race now. Tires are going to be on the verge of overheating here pretty soon for De Vries. But at 53%, he should be able to get to the end of the 2 laps. Nice pace here. He's gaining half a second. He's now within 5 seconds of Bottas and 10 of the leader Kenyan. But I don't think it's going to be enough for him to get any higher than 3rd. However, Verline is going to be that focus, and let's see if we can't get him back into the top 6. Got him up beside Delatraz now. He's got the nose ahead, but can he complete the pass? Got the inside here. No, he cannot. And he's down to 36% as well on those tires. So they are starting to fall off pretty quickly here. And it is the final lap of the Grand Prix. It's definitely time to turn it on here. De Vries, I'm going to use up that ERS down this whole stretch. You got this little chicane here, but it's almost a full speed chicane. Save the last little bit for the finish. And it's time to turn it on. Get to the end here. Get in there. Almost falling back to 8th place. Verline just now hanging on to 7th over Margasov, who is on the softs as well. And here goes De Vries to the finish. And he cruises in 3rd place. Did gain about 5 seconds there over the last handful of laps, but it was certainly not enough. And Verline, meanwhile, just misses the top 6. Dropping to 7th place, and even then barely hangs on to that over Margasov. So Delatraz pulled away from him there with a bit more pace. That is a faster car. We're definitely not that high up the grid yet, but not a bad finish with 3rd and 7th. My last race, which was done off camera, was outstanding. De Vries came away with the pole and led most of the race and came away with the win. Not only did De Vries get the win, but Verline very nearly had a lockout, a 1-2, but on the finish line with the tires totally falling off, and on that race I was able to make the one-stop work for both cars successfully. But in that one, Verline, with the tires totally falling off and a 2-stopper behind him in Valtteri Bottas, Bottas was able to pip him on the line with ERS. So Verline, I had been just eking out ERS the last 2 laps trying to stay ahead of Bottas. Bottas ended up saving his ERS for the final straight and was able to overtake us quite easily, and I actually almost fell to 4th there, but just hung on for a 1-3 finish in the last race. But in both of these, I've got a pole position bonus for Nick De Vries. Bottas, though, does pull out a couple points over De Vries, and that also means we fall a little bit further in the championship. With just a couple races to go, 3, I think. We are in range, but a little behind. So De Vries moved up to 2nd place in the last race, is 9 points behind Bottas in the championship. Meanwhile, Verline, who had temporarily moved up to 5th, is back down to 6th over Savanin, who's slipped back ahead of him, but he's close. You can see quite close to the top 4 at this point. And yes, it's 3 rounds to go. And we are 15 points behind Sauber with 3 races to go. That's achievable. We are quite comfortably ahead of ART now. So in that sense, we should definitely finish in the top 2. But it isn't impossible to get ahead of Sauber and get promoted this season, though it's unlikely. I had you come in right at the end of that race so that there would be enough time to get a second race in for this episode. So this will be potentially a slightly longer episode. Balance a little closer to 0, but we're still in the negative. For this season. We got a pretty good sponsor signed after the last race. And it looks like we're going to have some new ones to sign now, because I can already see sponsors suddenly dipped. So there's going to be at least 1 or 2 to replace. Pit crew still number 1. We'll do the evaluation of them in just a second. Staff is number 1. Drivers number 2 on the grid. Car, we overtook Racing Engineering to move up to 5th now. So we are finally into the upper half. Headquarters making progress. All right, let's go ahead and start with the pit crew. No mistakes this week, which was good. You can see there's a little bit of fatigue, especially here in gray. So we'll see what I can do to get some guys back in there, like 218s here. Double 18s, that definitely speeds us up a good bit. We were at like 20.1 a moment ago, so that was nearly 2 seconds a lap that we're going to pick up, or pit stop. And this one's good for fixing 16, 17. Ooh. Well, it's not that good. This guy, though, at an 18, is pretty solid. So we get Kramer in there. Now it's the back tires that are still hurting. Let's see, where's my refueling guys? I'm lacking the refueling guys, actually. So let's see if there's somebody new. That's a 15, that's a 16, that's not good enough. In fact, not good enough at anything. This is a 17-17 on the fronts and a 94. Let's see, 17-17 on the fronts and a 94. I have a 19. I have a 17-17 already. And I have a 17-9. That's actually a lot better than that guy, and he's not providing me much else. Maybe I let him go. The refueling's only 14, so the only real good thing about this one is, oh, hold on, 14 on the yeah, that's not enough. 14 on the refueling. All right, let this guy go, and let's go ahead and hire this one. Yeah, 17-17. All right, there you go. 17-17. I have a +3, basically, to all of our pit stops. I'm not sure how or why I achieved that. I'm sure it has something to do with my headquarters or my staff, but I get a +3 to all of these stats from what actually shows up when you go and hire them. Though stamina stays as is. Alright, so that's a couple 17-17s now. You can see there's another here. And the much better stamina. So Gray is probably not going to get back into too many races right now. I suppose this 73. I don't want you out there, though. You have an 18 refueling, which is nice, but you're really bad at tire changing. But I don't really have any options. I've got two 16s. So I need somebody who's really good at refueling coming up here soon. So 15-16, but only an 83, so no. These guys are no good. Reject them. Get new options next time. Maintaining a top pit crew has really helped this season especially, as we do make up time with our pit stops for sure. Interview. Ribeiro's been really good this season, but that's very much his car. Upcoming vote. Who I can pick up 250,000 to vote in favor of. See if you're interested in voting in favor of both virtual and real safety cars. I actually am. I might as well pick up the extra cash for doing something that I would have done anyway. Okay, take a quick look at the car, see that I have the right things being done. That's a new part on the car here, so we do want to get that maxed out. These are all the parts with risk. There's nothing else that I really need to get improved, so yes, we'll go with that. And I do have sponsors coming up. Those are offers coming in. It's been at least 3, 4. Okay. This one's ready to go. Let's see what we have. All 4 stars. I like that. 1 comes with the stipulation of finishing 3rd or above. That's a pretty decent payment. And it's only 6 races. We have 10 races, both with the same fixed amount, so this is clearly the better with the higher upfront payment. Now, draw the comparison between these. 400,000 times 10 races, so that's going to be 4 million. So that's 8.5 million over 10 races, which means it's less than $1 million per race. About 0.85, right? This is already $500,000 a race, almost. And then you get qualifying and race bonuses. And right now, the only one I have is 3rd. So this could potentially be a whole lot more money than this run. I do like fixed pay per race deals. But there's just a massive difference in the amount of money here. So why shouldn't I go for it, right? Let's do it. And I've been getting podiums pretty consistently here. And we'll wait a little bit, see if there's a 3rd offer coming in on that. Alright, so World Motorsport Championship, aka F1. Lando Norris, with a dodgy neck, it's always a dodgy neck, manages to win the race for Mercedes with Mick Schumacher of Ferrari in 2nd, and yes, that's Michael's son. And Perez, who won the last 2 races in a row, takes 3rd. And Norris opens up a little bit more of a lead now over Perez, who had definitely closed him down a bit. Giovinazzi, who is just been announced as Kimi Räikkönen's co-driver for next year, the number 2 driver behind him in the Alfa Romeo Sauber, so his Italian ties have gotten him that seat. It looks like Marcus Ericsson, who's going to be reserve driver next year for Sauber, is going to wait a year or so until Räikkönen retires, and then is supposedly going to get the seat back. That's the rumor that I heard from the Sky team, which ESPN picks up their coverage at the Russian Grand Prix, or Sochi. See, Verstappen's 4th, and then the 2 Ferraris down in 5th and 6th. So they are down a bit this year. Relatively close battle at the top. And Haas, who got promoted last season, are actually in 9th with Prima back down in 10th. They've spent the last couple, 2 or 3 seasons at this highest level. And the ERS, my old series, GP3, F3, whatever you want to call it. It looks like they have changed their points system. So it used to be a reverse grid for 20 for first, 1 point for last. It looks like they have switched to the same scoring model that's being used in my series. And just as I thought we got this third sponsor, no. Work on the car. Suspension is done. And the one that we just got together is the one containing the risk. So we'll get that one fixed up. We'll get that one on the car. For now, I have just the one that's already there. So we have another part that I could just throw into that mix. It's not actually going to go on the car. And once this is done, then we will focus on all those high-risk parts. And that's all work being done for next year's car, because they have the risk now. But next season, that risk disappears, and the best parts are the ones that set the basis for next year. And it's time to design a new part. But I've finally reached that point where I've got the first car as good as I can make it for this year, other than this part not being maxed out yet. So I'm looking essentially into what's the best thing I could do for the car for next year, or do I want to try to make improvements to, say, Verline's car for this year? Well, there's only 3 races to go. And nothing, it's only 10 days till we head to Doha. So there's not going to be a lot of time to affect Verline's car much. So I think I'm going to look at next year's car, meaning the high-risk parts. And where can we find improvement? It looks like brakes. I could probably put another car part on and get more out of it. If that's the best one already, then I'm sure I could find something, and probably something that doesn't have like the weight stripping on it. So brakes could be improved. Front wing looks like it could be improved. Here's an example of, I've already got the best I can get on the gearbox. This is the high risk one. This is the not high risk one, and they're not too far off from each other. Rear wing can definitely be improved. Suspension is at its pinnacle. At least for one part. So, let's see. Both wings and the brakes. Well, let's see. Rear wing's the fastest. We want to have them have time to actually be improved and get on the car. So why don't we start with the best I can find regardless of risk. So this is plus 30. Put that one on. That's wet and enters, so that doesn't actually count. This does count. It is a plus 25. And 25 seems to be the next best thing that I can find. Yes, 25. There we go. That's going to put us with a potential of 830. Alright, so we got a few things coming up. For one, our headquarters improvement is done, and we have nothing going on at the headquarters right now, but I'm going to save this money, especially just in case. We do happen to get promoted this season, but I want to accumulate a bit of cash, especially if we're still in this level next season. And I can dump some of this into a major upgrade, like factory, which is about 35 million, or into a museum or road car factory, whichever it is that's going to bring in money per race, but cost like 60 million. So I'm going to actually save the money, not spend anything on the headquarters for now. Okay, yeah, safety car. DOA, let's see, quick acceleration, soft and medium, and it's good on tire wear. We do have, oh, there's more than one. Oh man. Well, let's see what they already have to offer. It's both 4 stars. Not good. They both involve, this is only 5 races and up front at 5 million. This is the obvious choice. It's lower position, better bonus payment, and better upfront. So couldn't get more obvious on that one. Sadly, I have 2 choices now that are both 3rd or above and 1.3 million. So apparently I did not go with the right choice there for slot number 4, as I could have gotten a per race bonus regardless of qualifying. Okay, performance. Let's deal with this. Server problems. No, I don't want that issue. We'll take the 500,000 hit, even though I would probably recover it quite quickly. Alright, now all of these parts actually, hold on, let's not start with these brakes because I don't know for sure that these brakes are going to be on the car, because I'm looking to do wings and brakes. Wings, so we'll start with these 2. We'll be done a bit faster then. And I have 0 staff allocated, so this is maxed out. This is really just Becky doing her own work on those parts. Alright, we never picked up another sponsor offer, and it's not a good one, so I'm probably going to go with that. Oh, it's only 4 races, though. But that's a pretty small... Oh, and it's a... Yeah, no, that's nothing. 3 million, 4 races. Nothing new is coming up empty at the end of this race. I'm going to wait. I'm going to leave that spot open. Uh-oh. Zara Kenyon is a complete prat. And I'm already committed to voting in favor. We'll skip to the end, see how it goes. Lots of votes for. It was actually 5-5, but it was the double votes that split it. And there you go. We'll have virtual and full safety cars. Okay. New rear wing has been built. This is one that will be going on next year's car, so we'll throw it in the hat. Get rid of that one. This one's much better. I suppose if I'm going to be building a new... Yeah, already fixed that. So these are definitely going on next year's car. Now that was the rear wing. Let's take a look at the front wing. Get the most that we can manage. Here's a 70. That's definitely going to go on the car. That one both hurts and helps, so that's not very effective. 25 for 2 days. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. How does that compare? Quite a bit higher than what we have now, 871. Oh, look at that. Suspension is now number 1 on the grid. That's the first that I've had at this level as we continue our ascent. Headquarters now at 8th instead of 9th, with that being complete. And sponsors up to number 2. So we're starting to look good. It's only taken 2 years here in the second tier. F2, or as they call it, the Asia Pacific Super Cup. And we have 2 identical choices. Really doesn't matter which one I go for. Double check we have the right parts on the car before we head to the race. All the better parts going to DeFries. Oh, what's going on here? It's being weird. A little glitchy right now. Alright, we are set up. Time to go racing. We head to Doha in Qatar. And this is an absolutely beautiful track, by the way. Alright, weight stripping. This one's easy. We take it down to 20% off. Strip 20% off. We gain 420 performance with extra bonuses on these 2 parts for DeFries, and Verline gets 240. Alright, onto the car setup, and the handling's a bit off already. We're gonna need more oversteer, so there you go. And we'll be on the mediums because, for the most part, that's what we'll be running in the race, unless it ends up being a 2-stopper. And I might as well give you a little oversteer as well. The other car's struggling with it. You probably would be. Alright. Race trim, always number 1 objective for me. Race trim, good. And as always, we want to make those adjustments right away, so we bring the cars right back in. And our small adjustment to the handling was perfect. But the downforce speed balance was not. Looks like we're probably going to need a lot more acceleration than we have currently. And it's hard to say on the downforce whether we're going to need more or less. Alright, nothing's locked down. Ooh, I went the wrong way on the downforce. We gotta go this way. a lot. And speed balance. Going this way. A lot. Alright, well, we went backwards, but we went the right way for the speed balance. That was the important one. The other, wow, really? Excellent. Great. It's like a 1% difference. So we went the wrong way. Downforce needs to way up to the edge, it looks like. And then we've got to reel these puppies back in now. Now that is the wrong way. Locked in. It is a hair back. Apparently it was 2%. That's the 1% we needed to get back on track. We'll try this. Oh, I did not. Okay. I didn't bring Verline in. Still working on the setup here, but at least we got the first level of trim down for the race and the tires. Okay, now we're starting to look good. 96%. It's not perfect. That's pretty darn good. Okay, so we want to move the speed balance a little bit more. Or that's a bit more. A bit more than I want. But we'll try it. So all you have to do is change it back. Okay, 97%. And we do have the handling and speed balance just right. The downforce almost. I think I can leave DeVries out. There you go. Excellent, excellent, and excellent. Which is very, well, excellent. 98%. It's not perfect, but we'll take it. I'm going to go out the... Oh, I should have put you on more time, but you've got 6 laps worth of fuel. Go ahead and run these tires into the ground to maximize what we can do. And you as well. There's level 2. We're aiming for level 3 here, and then we'll bring them in and switch. It looks like, though, as we are down to 4 minutes, I don't think we're going to get a qualifying bonus in this race, but we'll certainly try to see if we can get level 1. Oh, I should have brought in DeVries there and let Verline finish it off, but that's it. There's only a minute and a half to go, so we'll just bring these guys in. There's no point wasting soft tires at this point trying to switch over because there's literally no time to get the first level. Ooh, a little off on the speed balance there for DeVries. Forgot I had made that adjustment on him. Should have brought him in. Checked him out one more time. So we do go first and third in the practice session on the harder compound. Of course, the others aren't pushing the way we were, but okay, 98. You know what? That's a percentage point closer. I'm not going to mess with it. All right, now I have all 4 sets of softs, which means I can use 2. Now. Let's see. They go 9 or 10 laps each. It's a 30-lap race. Maybe I make it a 2-stopper. What do we get here? Yeah, it's only 4 laps more, but that's where my performance bonus is. So run at least 1 set of mediums. So yeah, we'll run at least 2 sets of softs here. So they both get 2 shots at qualifying. Ew, that's not helpful. This one is. I like this. Sweet spots. Level 2. That's what's helped De Vries get the last 2 poles. Alright, we're going to get Verline out for his first run. This is a much longer lap, and this bug really bothers me. Savannah in every race, right at the start, already has a lap time. But with these longer lap times, I will not be able to go all the way around the track without already starting De Vries' lap time. It's hard to get temperature into these tires I'm seeing. Come on. Alright, we'll get you started. But I need to focus here. Oh, where am I? Where am I? There you go. Speed up, speed up, speed up. Get that tire temp. Almost. Good. But the brake temps right at the last second went upwards. So I've got to remember that here for De Vries. I can't have him attack at the last second. But look how big this green area is. Alright, here's our chance. Get those temps up, and cool it off, cool it off, cool it off. Get those temps up and cool it off. Okay, we got great and good for De Vries. That's a lot better. And you can see we're actually in pretty similar areas, but because of that perk, we got a bit better. Verline's fastest in Sector 2 so far, but Mazepin has just gone faster. Mazepin's got the fastest time overall at this point, and Savannah gets this free lap time as he's out on track. Verline's first one crossing the line, so I don't believe what you see there, as Verline's almost a second slower than Mazepin. He's been a lot better in the last few races, but today not looking so good. De Vries 0.2 off in Sector 1, so I'm just not quite up to the pace of the ART, or it looks like the 0.8 off the pace here after Sector 2, so De Vries looking a little bit on the slow side. Most of these cars might not get a second session in. I've got to get Verline out right away. Verline's all the way down. De Vries goes 6th fastest. Got to get him back right away. Verline I'm going to send out immediately. Fresh set of tires. And away we go. Now I've got to try to get Verline mastered here, and DeVries, I've got to keep an eye on when he gets in because I need to send him out immediately as we're already inside 4 minutes. Alright, he's still got a ways to go on the lap. Getting a little bit closer. Okay, here's Verline. Speed up, speed up, speed up. Okay, he's in, he's in. There we go. Alright. Get him out on fresh tires. Oh, where are you? Where are you? 15th. Now's your time to attack and stop at the last second to not have that shoot up. So we got good tire temps, and the brake temps were a little closer to level this time, but otherwise Verline's about the same as he was last time out. So all he's got going for him is there's more grip on the track for this second run. He was 15th now after the first run. DeVries is 8th after everybody's already finished that first lap. And now we're at it again here on DeVries getting his setup. Verline is on his hot lap now. So far we're managing the brake temps really well for DeVries, but the tire temps are quite low. Difficult to get these up. Alright, attack, come on, attack, get it up, get it up, get it up. Good is all I could manage. Dang it. So DeVries is going to have a hard time going faster on this lap, and he's already only 8th, and Verline is slower. He's already 1.2 off more than his entire first lap, which means Verline is held up in traffic. He's behind some cars. Pagenaud has held up Verline. Verline has not been able to overtake him. And meanwhile, DeVries, same problem. So Verline does not go faster, and DeVries has not one, not two, but 3 cars giving him dirty air. Let's speed up to the end here as it's time to go racing. And he's almost overtakes one car and didn't even accomplish that. He drops all the way to 11th, getting stuck with a slower time. And so this was not the start that I was hoping for this one. And Savanin gets pole, but I can see it was not the time that it had previously. Savanin had gone faster. Alright, it's time to go racing. I'm going to definitely go for a one-stop type strategy if I can manage in this one, as I'm down the grid a bit. We're clearly in for a dry race, as is always the case here. And we've got some excellent bonuses. Car setup's nice, but we need to check those tires. So these are good for 10 to 12. These are good for 14 to 16. If I can see, there's no way to squeak out enough out of these tires, because you'd have to get 15-10, which is more than their lower limit, which means it's not happening. So we're going to be going medium, and making it a one-stopper. Driver strategy. We can push them a little bit more, which is good. Push. Overtake mode, and start the race. Alright, so Savanin on the pole, Mazepin second, and Bottas is third. Slow start from Verline. DeVries gets a good start, but does get checked up pretty quickly to the row ahead of him. But he does at least get 10th. Obviously, heavy traffic with this midfield start. DeVries looking to the inside here on Galil. He's got him temporarily, but now Galil's got the inside track here. Nothing much I could do on this first lap. I am already over on time, and we have just started the race, so we're going to have to play this race pretty quickly here. Because the longer these videos get, even though I'm happy to provide you with more content, the longer they get, they take much, much longer to upload. And they take up more storage space, and so on and so forth. So my hands are a little bit tied in that respect. Verline looking for the overtake here, and ooh, he actually gets a bump from behind from NATO as he overtakes Johnson. And NATO keeps the pressure going. De Vries now in 9th place. It looks like Mazepin, Jorg, and Tench all going for the one-stop strategy as well. Bottas, 1 second off the pace in second, is probably going to be in the lead here before long on those soft tires. You can see there's not a lot of pace difference between the two tire compounds. But De Vries does remain here in 9th place so far. Let's see, that front stretch is definitely the best place to use ERS, so I'll be trying to save it for that. And let's go ahead and speed up till we get to that next point. So we are 9th and 16th at the moment. And here's that hairpin, and then it is time to kick on the overtake. We get 8th, we get 7th, so we pick up 2 positions, double overtake there on the straight, and actually looks to the inside of Schramm even momentarily. Next time we'll have to get Verline a quick look as he's sliding backwards, but is able to hang on to the position there over King. Alright, De Vries currently losing a position. Use up a little ERS to try to help with that, and here's Verline. Verline not able to gain anything but a little bit of ground on the track. But meanwhile, Savanen, what has happened to Savanen? Savanen started on the pole. Savanen all the way behind De Vries there, making up some ground. So he must have made a pretty big mistake either on the start or somewhere around that first lap that cost him a bunch of positions, either off the track or just a horrendous start. Here's De Vries in a good spot to potentially gain up to 3 positions. He's going to overtake Tench. No surprise there. Tench shouldn't be this high up the grid anyway. De Vries on good form right now. 8.0 is his rating. Got a little bit of ERS to use here once we hit that straight as well. Help secure that position with Tench close behind, and 2 cars not too far ahead, but he's not going to be able to gain on them here, so that's just to secure the position more than anything. Meanwhile, Verline looking for a pass on the outside of King and completes it. So those two have been battling back and forth here for a while. Both cars are overheating. I need to back them off. Been running hard for a long time. Alright, so on conserve mode for a while. We're probably going to slide backwards as a result. Not a lot of ERS to use either, so cars not quite at the pace of others on the grid today. It's not surprising. It's not like we actually have the fastest car. We just happen to have good races, good strategy, good pit crews. We tend to make some overtakes there. So going head-to-head with these guys does not always go our way. But those on the soft tires looks like they're heading into the pits, as quite a few cars were in there. And we are now 9th and 16th. Okay, we are back to the point where we are not overheating anymore. So I think we can go back to neutral. And now I have some ERS as well, so this next lap will use up some of that. As we come around, I always opt for the most strategic place to use it as opposed to just helping in passing anytime passing comes up. So I'm trying to make the best overall time gains for this the majority of the time. So that front stretch, especially with no actual DRS mode here, using the ERS like DRS tends to have the best impact. I mean, we can see De Vries, and that wasn't even all the way because he still had the rest of the front straight, gained 0.7 of a second that lap. Alright, both cars down to about 30% on the tire wear, and I'm going to stop one of them on lap 12. I'll stop the other on lap 13, unless I can happen to go 13 and 14, but that's not going to be the case here, as I can already see Verline down to 29% right now, so Verline's going to be the one coming in a lap from now. So we're going to go ahead and go back into push, and then as the temperature creeps up, we'll go into overtake mode. So let's go ahead and tune in on Verline's progress, and we'll also speed it up slightly as he loses a position right as I was about to drop the ERS bomb to keep the position, but Ribeiro gets ahead. Ribeiro's already made a stop, so in that sense, Verline is definitely losing some time here. So we're going to stick with the mediums and go to the end of the race, which means I also need to add that fuel in now, as this is a one-stopper. We're going to put in a little bit of extra fuel as well so we can keep up the engine mode. 13 seconds for that stop. That's a quick one. Also go into attack mode as we're pushing to the end. Meanwhile, De Vries will start picking up the pace a little bit there. Alright, Verline is in. He's back out. He's all the way down to last place at the moment, but he does, with the pit exit located where it is, get to 18th. So 18th place for Verline after his stop. Meanwhile, we're going to come in. Yeah, we're not going to make it 12 on those softs. Let's see, do I want 15? No, that's probably more than I want. 13. Yeah, we'll go 12.79. A little bit of extra fuel. Meanwhile, De Vries has a good amount of ERS already saved up. Comes in from 4th place, but one of the last cars to pit. Looks like a group of 5, 6 cars. All the final cars come in at the exact same time. And so De Vries comes out in 9th place, with Verline now in 16th. Ribeiro has already stopped twice. Pagenaud is the last car that has not stopped yet. And with lots of ERS and being good to go to the end, De Vries should move up through the grid a bit. Will he get into the points? I think he'll get into the points, but will he get to the podium? Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Meanwhile, Verline struggling. Verline's still all the way back in 17th and already off the pace. Of course, I have already fueled up to go to the end of this race, and I'm sure other cars are going to stop and add fuel later. So that's one area where we might be lacking on... Oh, wrong spot for that, but he does get an overtake. And can he make it too? He does. Nice. That was 2 seconds faster than his previous lap. So De Vries, Verline moves up to 14th. Got to save these tires. We don't want to crash out here early. With 87% ERS, this will be a good time for that. Not a fast lap here for De Vries, but not a bad lap either, as he was 0.3 up there. But our target of 3rd, he's 16 seconds behind. Tench is going to pit soon. Schramm is going to pit soon. Kenyon's definitely not going to the end. Galale is not going to make it to the end on those tires. But Mazepin and Jorg and Delatraz, they're probably good to go to the end. So we're looking at maybe P4 for De Vries. People are pitting and Verline's actually going backwards. So Verline's lacking the pace today. There's about a 12-second gap between them. So the field is pretty tight compared to a lot of races. Okay, we're going to turn up De Vries a little bit. De Vries actually getting faster as his fuel load's getting lower. Verline's still going backwards. Come on. Six laps remaining. I'm going to use some ERS here. Probably the last time I'm going to give him attention until the end of the race. He moves up to 13th thanks to a pit stop. Alexander Albon is in for his second stop of the day. So a lot of cars are opting for a two-stopper today. Not too many cars going for the one-stopper, but it is clearly the strategy that's going to net the best results. Though it doesn't provide quite as much pace, but there's not a huge difference between the two. Yeah, Kenyon's going to stop here anytime, probably this lap. With all this DRS, I should be able to make some ground. 53% tire wear with a few laps to go. De Vries is in 5th now, as Kenyon did have to stop a second time and didn't even have softs to put on, had to put on mediums. So Kenyon's not going to come flying through the field. And meanwhile, some of these cars looking to go for this one stop don't have the kind of tire wear that De Vries has. Like, say, Verline, who's well behind on the tire wear front. Mazepin, Jorg, and Delatraz all struggling. Bottas has made a two-stop and is still in 3rd place. So Bottas had much better pace than anyone else. 2 laps remaining. We're going to go ahead and use ERS on Verline here, and then we'll stick with De Vries till the end. Still has 41% left. We're going to turn that up to overtake. It's the last two laps and 3 laps worth of fuel to go. Let's go ahead and put it on push. I'm going to put you on push. It's final lap. Final lap. Okay, both cars full overtake mode here on this final lap of the race. De Vries closing in on Delatraz, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch him. But it's definitely hit the cliff. He's using up his ERS right now and not pulling away. So we only managed 5th and 12th, but I do pick up some more points that way. So it's not bad, but I didn't meet my sponsor objective. I certainly didn't do as well as I hoped. I was hoping for a podium there, but Mazepin ran a good race. Bottas almost caught back up to Jorg there. At least he was only in 3rd, so I don't lose much ground. But with those fresh tires, he could have maybe managed a fast lap. That would have hurt me. Let's see what we get real quick, and then we will call this an episode. Mazepin gets the fast lap bonus. Savanin got the pole. So that was that. We get 5th and 12th. No penalties to anyone on the grid. So it's okay. You can definitely see, though, that the first 5 positions, only one 2-stopper in there, and Bottas. The rest of us all on that 1 stop. Definitely paid off. 2-stoppers line the bottom. Sadly, Verline was only faster than Pagenaud of those on the 1-stop strategy. So bad pace from Verline on this race. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.